I've watched Joe's interviews. I should have watched one to see the type of things he talked about.
Oh, just talking about getting to know the dog and maybe some of the programs coming up. And you were joining us here on a Wednesday. I know that it's been a few weeks and there's been some complications. Joe from the McDonough County Animal Shelter has unfortunately decided to retire, and of course we wish him the best. And in the gap, at least until we can find someone from the shelter, there have been plenty of people who volunteer their time, as well as people from the Humane Society who have opted to step up and highlight some more of these pets. And with that, today I'm joined by Max Kreps. How are you doing today, Max?
We're doing fine.
Good. I'm glad to hear it. And well, we have got a rather excitable face in today. He's a big boy and he's got lots of energy. And this is Arnie. So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself and him?
Well, Arnie was a stray, so we're not quite sure how old he is. Our best guess is he's in anywhere from 3 to 5 years old. I have an app on my phone called Dog Identifier, and it says that he is 99% bulldog and 99% pit bull. Arnie's a really friendly guy. One of the favorites of the walkers to walk in the mornings because he's so chill. He's enjoying meeting you. He's a male, obviously. The cost to adopt Arnie is $145. He is up to date on his shots. He has been neutered. From what we see, he's good with other dogs. We can tell that when we walk them in the morning. He has no problem being around another dog. He's calm. He's curious about other dogs, but you can tell from his body language that he's a dog fan. Not quite sure how he does with cats. He has been around cats and has no reaction. For instance, when we walk him through the cat room, no reaction from Arnie, which is a good sign. In terms of children, if you would have children in your home, that's something where maybe coming out to the shelter, asking to see Arnie with your child with you to get the vibe on how Arnie's doing. My guess he'd be great with children as well.
Yeah, I definitely think that's a great first step in trying to decide on any pet. Really, it's getting to know them first. You wouldn't buy a car without taking it for a test drive, and I hate to reduce it down to its bare bones, but I think that's kind of the best decision there.
Yeah, and it's done quite frequently. Someone who's interested in an animal comes for a meet and greet. We do have pens outside at the shelter where you could ask a staff member if they would bring Arnie out to the pen. You could play with him, see if he likes to play catch, see what his reaction is around you. I'm very confident in Arnie. I've seen nothing to make you think that Arnie's not a fan of people. So a couple things that I would say, and this comes from a dog walker. I'm one of a few that go out about every day. He's a nice, calm walker. He seems to be interested in other dogs, has shown positive body language around other dogs. He's got great manners. He greets all humans in a friendly way, and that's coming from several dog walkers who have experience with Arnie. He's one that we don't fight over him to get to walk Arnie, but he's one that all of us we're fans of. I would say too, the shelter is located at 101 East Tower Road, which if you're heading north out of town, as soon as you cross the Lemoyne River Bridge, you would take a right turn on the first road and drive just a couple hundred yards and you're there at the shelter. Their hours, Monday through Friday, the hours are for the public 11 to 5 p.m. Saturday, I believe it's 9 to 11, and then Sunday they're closed to the public.
Yeah, and it's a building you can't miss because it's pretty well decorated with a cat and a dog on it. So there is no mistaking that you're at the shelter there. And of course, if you want to get the application process started, they've got it on their Facebook page. We've also got a link to it that'll be attached to the article here, and all you have to do is download it, fill it out, make sure to get your references all squared away and submit it to the shelter, and they'll do a little check there to make sure you're a good fit, especially with your references and your vet, just to make sure that the pets are well taken care of.
Right, and I talked to Zach about that, the head animal control officer, and he said either a vet reference or a letter of recommendation, not by a family member, of course, with a letter of recommendation. But a thing I would also mention, the $145 offsets the cost that has already been spent to have him neutered and up to date on his shots. So that's simply the shelter recuperating the costs that they've spent on Arnie.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and they're open all the time. They've got plenty of pets out there, lots of dogs and lots of cats, and a lot of times they're running up to capacity. So we're definitely interested in helping them to get homes, but that doesn't mean that maybe, I don't know, it'd be difficult. Maybe Arnie's not your guy. Maybe you're looking for something a little more compact.
Yeah, they come in all shapes and sizes out there. We recently, and their stories, they're all basically sad. They're sad stories for the most part. We've got a pair of elderly dogs out there right now that are 13 years old that came in together. Their owner recently passed away, so that's a sad story. We have some puppies that were recently left outside in the drop-off pens, 11 what appear to be about 6 weeks old puppies. That's a sad story that those puppies, their life is now going to be at the shelter for a while. We have dogs that have been there a while. We have dogs, as soon as we mention that, hey, it seems like we're getting down a little bit on numbers of dogs, which is a good thing, a couple more will come in.
Mm-hmm.
But there's always a good selection to choose from. Something I, as a volunteer, would mention, a couple things. As an owner, number one, make sure your dog is microchipped so that you can find them if they get lost. In several cases, a dog will come in and it's not been microchipped. Or also, if you're the owner of the dog and you've moved to Macomb and the microchip may read that, hey, I lived in Canton, Illinois. Well, now the dog's in Macomb and they don't have a way to find the owner. And I'd also mention, when you visit the shelter, please try not to judge the dogs by their excitement in their pens. They're anxious, they're nervous, they're seeing someone they don't know. I think their barks are saying, please choose me, please choose me. But don't let that intimidate you. As I said earlier, if you would just ask the animal control officers if you could see a certain dog outside, you'd see a whole different sweet side to that dog that maybe is not coming across inside.
Absolutely, and of course, while first impressions might be everything, it might not be everything you need to know.
Exactly.
They might be excitable and up in your face and excited and happy when you first see them inside the shelter, but that might just be that first instinct for them, and maybe they're a little too high energy.
Yeah.
For you.
And if you're a human being and you meet somebody for the first time, you don't know what to think yet. Well, the same thing with a dog, but they express it in a different way. It's maybe barking, it may be exciting, it may be jumping up on the pen door, but I guarantee you from my experience, get them outside, get them in one of the play pens, and chances of you falling in love are going to increase for sure.
Yeah, just like this big lug here. He is more than happy to just meet new people. This is very likely the first time that I've met him, and he is already super friendly.
He is. And, sometimes pit bulls get bad raps, but my experience, having been out there for 8 years as a volunteer, is that pit bulls can be some of the friendliest dogs you ever meet. Any dog can have a bad day. Any human can have a bad day, but my experience with the pit bulls that we've had out there is that they're all in all great dogs.
Absolutely, and of course treat them with kindness and they'll return the same.
They will.
Absolutely. All right, Max. Well, I want to thank you so much for bringing Arnie out today, and with any luck, we can get him a new home, and you won't have to walk him anymore because he'll have someone else taking care of that.
Well, he certainly makes good eye contact with you.
That he does. All right, thanks again.
Thank you.